Every 11 seconds, another organization falls victim to a ransomware attack. By the time you finish watching this video, at least 50 businesses, hospitals, schools, and government agencies will have lost access to everything: their files, their systems, their data, and most of them will never fully recover. That number is not a scare tactic. It is the current reality of the internet we all share right now. In the next 10 minutes, you will understand exactly how ransomware works from the very first click to the final ransom demand, what happens inside your system during an attack, and the specific steps that can make you nearly impossible to target. But here is the part that surprises almost everyone: the most effective protection against ransomware has nothing to do with expensive software. Most cybersecurity companies will not lead with that information because it does not sell premium subscriptions. Stay with us, because what we are about to cover could genuinely save your data, your money, and your organization. Ransomware is not a new concept. The first documented ransomware attack happened in 1989. A biologist named Joseph Popp distributed nearly 20,000 floppy disks at a World Health Organization AIDS conference, labeling them as educational software. Once installed, the program hid directories and encrypted file names, then demanded $90 sent to a P.O. box in Panama to restore access. It was crude by today's standards, but the criminal logic was identical to what attackers use right now: take something valuable, hold it hostage, demand payment for its return. For the next 2 decades, ransomware remained relatively rare because distributing malware required physical media or early internet connections that most people did not have. Everything changed around 2013 when a piece of ransomware called CryptoLocker emerged. It used Bitcoin as a payment method, which meant attackers could collect ransom without ever revealing their identity. It spread through email attachments and infected over 500,000 machines within its first few months. Law enforcement eventually dismantled it, but the blueprint it created has been copied and refined thousands of times since. By 2017, ransomware had evolved into something catastrophic. WannaCry, a ransomware worm, exploited a vulnerability in Windows systems and spread across the globe in hours without requiring anyone to click anything. It hit the UK's National Health Service so hard that hospitals had to turn away patients. It disrupted FedEx, Telefonica, and hundreds of thousands of other organizations in over 150 countries. The estimated damage? $4 billion. That single attack redefined what ransomware could accomplish and terrified governments worldwide. So how does a modern ransomware attack actually work? It starts with what security researchers call the initial access phase. Attackers need a way into your system, and they have several reliable methods. Phishing emails remain the most common entry point, accounting for roughly 41% of all ransomware infections. These are not the obvious scam emails of 10 years ago. Modern phishing emails are personalized, professional, and often reference real events from your life or organization pulled from social media and data breaches. One click on a malicious link or attachment is all it takes. Other entry points include exposed remote desktop protocol connections, which allow remote access to computers and are frequently left unsecured by organizations. Attackers scan the internet constantly looking for open RDP ports with weak passwords. Unpatched software vulnerabilities are another major vector. When a software company releases a security patch, attackers analyze what was fixed, build exploits targeting the old vulnerability, and then race to hit organizations that have not yet updated their systems. But here is what nobody talks about: a significant number of ransomware attacks are carried out by humans sitting at keyboards, not automated scripts. Running on their own. These are called human-operated ransomware campaigns, and they are far more dangerous than automated attacks because the attacker adapts in real time, moving through your network intelligently, looking for the most valuable data and the best moment to deploy the ransomware payload. Once inside your system, the attacker enters what is called the dwell time phase. Studies show that attackers spend an average of 11 days inside a network before deploying ransomware. During this time, they are mapping your environment, identifying your backup systems, escalating their privileges to administrator level, and disabling your security tools. They are learning everything about your infrastructure so that when they finally activate the ransomware, they can cause maximum damage with minimum chance of recovery. The encryption phase is where ransomware earns its name. The malware generates a unique encryption key, locks every file it can reach, documents, databases, images, backups, everything, and then deletes or encrypts that key locally, uploading a copy to the attacker's server. You now have access to nothing. Modern ransomware uses AES-256 encryption combined with RSA-2048, which means brute force decryption without the key is computationally impossible. You are not breaking your way out of this mathematically. Then comes the ransom note. It appears on every infected screen, often replacing the desktop wallpaper entirely. It tells you what happened, how much you owe, and how to pay, almost always in cryptocurrency. Ransom demands have skyrocketed over the past 5 years. The average ransomware payment in 2023 reached approximately $1.5 million, up from just about $117,000 in 2019. Some individual demands have exceeded $50 million. And paying does not guarantee recovery. Roughly 40% of organizations that pay a ransom still cannot fully restore their data. Modern ransomware groups have also introduced double extortion, which is a tactic that has become standard since around 2020. Before encrypting your files, they exfiltrate a copy of your most sensitive data. Then they threaten to publish it publicly if you do not pay. This means even if you restore from backups, the threat does not go away. Groups like Lockbit, Black Hat, and Clop have published hundreds of gigabytes of stolen corporate data on leaked sites to prove they are serious. Ransomware has also evolved into a business model called Ransomware as a Service, or RaaS. Criminal organizations build sophisticated ransomware platforms and rent them out to affiliate attackers who carry out the actual intrusions, then split the ransom payment. This is why ransomware incidents have multiplied so dramatically. You no longer need technical expertise to launch an attack. You just need access to the dark web and a willingness to commit a crime. So what does effective protection actually look like? The most critical defense is something almost embarrassingly simple: the 3-to-1 backup rule. Keep 3 copies of your data, on 2 different types of storage media, with 1 copy stored completely offline and disconnected from any network. Ransomware can only encrypt what it can reach. An air-gapped offline backup is your ultimate recovery mechanism, and it costs nothing but discipline to maintain. Patch management is equally essential. The majority of ransomware attacks exploit known vulnerabilities that already have patches available. Organizations and individuals who apply updates consistently close the doors that attackers rely on. Enable automatic updates everywhere you can. Stop delaying them. Network segmentation is something organizations must implement immediately. If every device on your network can communicate with every other device freely, ransomware that infects one machine can spread to all of them. Dividing your network into segments means an infection stays contained, limiting damage dramatically. Multi-factor authentication on every account, especially email and remote access systems, eliminates entire categories of attack. Even if attackers steal your password through phishing or a data breach, they cannot access your account without that second factor. Employee training deserves more investment than most organizations give it. Since phishing is the leading initial access method, training people to recognize and report suspicious emails is one of the highest return security investments available. Simulated phishing exercises conducted regularly have been proven to reduce click rates on malicious emails by over 60%. And here is the real insight that ties all of this together: ransomware succeeds not because attackers are impossibly sophisticated, but because basic security hygiene is still overwhelmingly neglected. The organizations that survive attacks and recover quickly are almost never the ones with the biggest security budgets. They are the ones that consistently practiced fundamentals: backups, patching, segmentation, training, and multi-factor authentication.